Hi, I'm Brian Poole, and this is the National Trail Middle School laptop orientation for 5th, 6th, and 7th grades here at National Trail. Luckily, here at National Trail, we have laptops in every single classroom. All those pretty much are new within the last year or two. In fact, some of the classrooms got brand new ones in the past few months. And we ask that you help us take care of those. There are some general rules as far as taking care of laptops. The first one is that although people talk about laptops as being mobile devices, they're not a phone, they're not an iPad, they're not meant to be carried around on. Think of them as a computer that you can move, not as a mobile device. And when I say that, means you shouldn't be moving them around the school open or in your classroom open. They're meant to be closed and off. You sit down, you open up your laptop, and you use your laptop in that location without moving it while it's running. It's really bad on a laptop actually to be moved while it's running. There's moving parts inside of there that you could actually damage. One of the things I'm going to point out with that is because we have laptops assigned to classrooms now, as classroom sets, your teacher's probably going to assign you the laptop that you're going to be using. And that may change every few weeks if you change seating charts. But in general, the first time you log onto a laptop, it takes longer to create all the file folders and profiles that are yours. So every time you change laptops, you make it take longer for you to get on that laptop. If you use the same one, you obviously get on quicker. Documents you saved before are still there. So we want you to try to use the same one all the time so that it's a better environment for you. Every time you get a laptop, the first thing you should do, whether you're taking it out of the card or you're sitting down at your desk to use it, is do a quick overlook of the laptop. If there's anything wrong with the laptop, right at the beginning of the period is when you need to tell your teacher. Because if you let something broken go to the next class and the next student finds it, the assumption is that you're the one who broke it. So if there's anything wrong, if there are keys missing, if there's a crack in the screen, if there's any physical damage, you need to make sure your teacher knows that right at the beginning of the class and not at the end of the class, because that's when it's assumed that you're the one who did that damage and it may very well not be you. So you're going to have school fees or technology fees that covers general wear and tear of the laptops, meaning parts that we need to replace. It doesn't cover malicious damage like I punched the screen and broke it type thing. You will get a pair of headphones you're expected to keep with you every single day because all of your teachers may be using those. Those should have mics on them so you can use them for speech to text if you want to, as well as text to speech, as well as listening to any videos that you may have assigned during your classes. So please make sure you keep your headphones with you every day. Again, expectations, you don't move laptops around the room while they're running. If you have to go to the card and sign yours out. And again, most teachers should have some kind of a chart up on who gets which laptop. Make sure you bring your headphones every day. Make sure you keep your stuff on your Google Drive or your S Drive, your network drive, so that if you have to use a different laptop, you still have access to your documents. Or more importantly, if that laptop gets turned in later on in the day because it gets broken later on, it will probably get wiped when it's turned into my students to work on, meaning everything that was there will be gone. So if you keep things on the network drive, you'll never have to worry about losing those things. They're actually backed up every night, archived every week. I can go back months and months to recover things from your network drive, but I can't recover anything after a drive has been wiped. If you have a problem, the first thing we always ask you to do is to do a restart. Many people say, I just turn it on. I don't need to restart it. That is 100% not true. A restart clears out something called Windows memory leakage. Google it if you want to, but a restart clears that out, whereas a shutdown and a fresh start does not. Windows saves things from your memory to your hard drive. Yeah, I could give you a whole explanation, but it fixes mice errors, keyboard errors, software errors. If you just do a restart, many things that people think there's something wrong with this laptop, a simple restart would have fixed. Again, not a shutdown, turn back on. You have to hit restart to get a restart. However, if there's something wrong with your laptop, your teacher may send you down to the library to get a spare. The laptop form is really, the student name is not as important as it used to be. The laptop number is. So you can put the laptop number up there, it'll be something like S404 dash something else. And those numbers tell us what room they come from, what grade level they go with. But there's nothing wrong with having a name up there as well. We need to know which one it is to bring it back. But this is really important that you check off what's wrong with it. Why are you turning it in? You cannot assume that the student in my technology class is going to know what's wrong with your laptop. You need to tell us. It's broke on that line, doesn't tell us anything. You wouldn't be turning it in if it wasn't broke. We need to know what's broke. So if you can fill that out as much as possible, we really appreciate it when it comes down here. We repair laptops the end of every Orange Day in our Orange 4 technology class in high school. So if it's turned in on a brown day, it's going to be running to the next brown day. If it's turned in before 1 o'clock on an Orange Day, it's going to be running to the next brown day. And maybe your teacher could send somebody from your intervention back to pick that up. And you only need, by the way, to get a spare if you don't have an extra laptop. If there are 23 or 24 in every classroom, and if you only have 16 kids in your class, you don't need to take a spare. Just send that laptop down, and we'll get it back to you. Or this is Swigart. We'll email the teacher as soon as it's ready. But again, the next brown day is when it's going to be ready to be picked up. If there are any damages that get assessed to you, this is for I broke it. Right? I pick up a laptop, I open it up, it's got a broken screen. The last student that used it is going to be charged for that. Broken screens mean shattered. If the screen is just black, doesn't light up, or it's just white, it's all one solid, that's usually not broken. Well, sometimes it's broken, but it's not usually a feat. Broken hinges happen when students, and this usually happens with fifth graders because they're used to carrying around iPads, pick up laptops by their screen and break off the laptop at the hinges. It's actually really hard to replace and repair. Replacement keyboards only get charged if you've been picking off keys. If there's one key missing, we usually never charge for that. But if there's multiple keys missing, then we obviously do. A destroyed palm rest. We have some students like to scratch and scrap on palm rests. That's a minimum cost because of tariffs that cost them up to $200 for some palm rests, which we usually don't then fix. Classes have to live with that scratch on at this point. Broken bezel, that's the thing that goes around the screen. If that gets broken, it's usually about $20 to repair it if we need to. Obvious user damage is what gets charged to the last student who used it. So let your teacher know if there's anything wrong. That rarely happens in classroom sets that are in the room. That usually only happens, most of these fees only happen with personally assigned ones that students haven't taken care of. Since these aren't going to be out in the hallway and they're not going to be laying around the classroom, very few of them will get damaged. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask your teacher. Hopefully you have a great school year at National Trail.